Your sports now.
I'm Josh Rising, your Team 1340 Sports Minute. The Baltimore Ravens were able to end the Denver Broncos season prematurely. Baltimore got the best of Denver in double overtime, 38-35. The game came down to quarterbacks Joe Flacco and Peyton Manning. Flacco outdueled Manning in this game with 3 touchdown passes, including a 70-yard TD pass to Jacoby Jones with less than a minute left of forced overtime. The Ravens sealed the deal with Justin Tucker nailing the game-winning kick, and the Broncos' expectations of the Super Bowl fell short. Head coach John Fox says the loss is tough to take.
If you don't win at all, they're all disappointed. I've been in Super Bowls and lost them, and that's no day at the beach either. So it's only fun when you win it all, and that's our goal. And it'll be, we didn't get quite there this year. That'll be our goal next year.
The Broncos finished the season 13-4 with an early exit from the playoffs. They look to build another Super Bowl run shortly in the 2013 season.
Your sports now.
I'm Josh Rising with your Team 1340 Sports Update. Unable to overcome multiple turnovers, the Denver Broncos fall to the Baltimore Ravens in double overtime, 38-35. All 3 of Denver's turnovers came from Hall of Fame quarterback Peyton Manning, including one that was returned for a touchdown. Manning says that some of his decisions did not help the cause and put his team in bad situations in the defeat against the Ravens.
I put our defense in that tough spot there at the end in overtime with a short field, bad decision, bad throw on my part, and I really feel disappointed I put them in such a tough spot.
After winning 11 straight games, the 1-seed Broncos close out the season 13-4 and a 1-game exit in the playoffs. They will take some time off as they start off-season preparations for the 2013 season.
Your sports now.
I'm Josh Rising with your Team 1340 Sports Update. The Denver Nuggets back on the road taking on the Rockets in Houston. Denver coming off a big win over the Thunder at home and will try to keep it going against the Houston team that snapped a 7-game losing skid on Monday with the victory over the Bobcats. Denver will try to test the Rockets down low where they lead the league in second chance points, offensive rebounds, and points in the paint. Denver already has a win on the Rockets court earlier this season. Pregame at 5:35, tip-off at 6 on the Team 1340 and 1490 in Rifle. And over on to the other team that plays over in the Pepsi Center, the Colorado Avalanche opened up at home with a huge win over the defending Stanley Cup champion LA Kings on Tuesday. The Avs scored 2 goals in the third period to rally and beat the Kings 3-1.
Quick centering pass to the Avs, and David Jones shoots and scores! David Jones goes over the left shoulder of Jonathan Quick. He rings it off the underside of the crossbar, and the Avs have taken a 2-1 lead over the LA Kings.
Mark Mosier on the Avalanche Radio Network. Gabriel Landeskog added the other third-period goal as Colorado improves to 1-1 on the season. They host Columbus on Thursday night on the Team 1340 and 1490 starting at 6:36 p.m.
Your sports now.
I'm Josh Rising with your Team 1340 Sports Update. The Denver Broncos found themselves in a rematch with the Baltimore Ravens in the divisional round of the playoffs. This game had a different outcome as the Ravens got the best of the hottest team in the NFL, 38-35 in double overtime. During their 11-game win streak, the Broncos beat an injury-riddled Ravens defense. This time around, the Ravens had multiple players back, including Hall of Fame linebacker Ray Lewis. Quarterback Peyton Manning says this defense looked a lot different from the defense they faced several weeks ago.
Hey, they're a good defense. We knew that coming in. Certainly you want every drive to be perfect and go down the field. It's just not the case when you're playing a good defense like that. It's a much different team than we faced the first time.
The Ravens corralled the Broncos offense, including 3 sacks, 2 interceptions, and 1 good for a touchdown. Baltimore ends Denver's 11-game win streak and season with a 13-4 record and an early exit out of the playoffs.
Your sports now.
I'm Josh Rising with your Team 1340 Sports Update. The Colorado Mesa football team is getting a lot of help from head coach Russ Martin's former team. 10 players are transferring to the Mavericks, with 6 of them from Nebraska Kearney. Most of the players are already on campus and will be available for spring practice. Former Loper quarterbacks Sean Flanagan and Eric Kaiser both started at least 1 game for Kearney last season. The 2 quarterbacks are former Colorado prep players. Both received medical red shirts, so both will be freshmen this fall. Former Silver Creek High standout Ryan Rankin is also transferring from the Lopers. He was the top receiver for quarterback Austin Apodaca when they defeated Palisade in the 3A semifinals in 2011. The Mavericks have dismissed starting quarterback Deke Sisko and offensive lineman Jeff Berghorn from the team for violating team policy. The Mavericks will most likely start spring practice on March 11th with the spring game April 13th. And staying in the college ranks, the Mountain West Conference will add a football championship game next season, and the conference will split into 2 divisions. Colorado State, Air Force, Boise State, New Mexico, Utah State, and Wyoming will be in the Mountain Division, with Fresno State, Hawaii, Nevada, San Diego State, San Jose State, and UNLV in the West Division. The football championship game will be December 7th at the home stadium of the team with the highest BCS ranking. Basketball will not have divisions since Hawaii is a football-only member.
Your sports now.
I'm Josh Rising with your Team 1340 Sports Update. The Denver Broncos may have been the hotter team coming into the game, but the Baltimore Ravens were the better team this past weekend as they got the best of the Broncos 38-35 in double overtime. Despite questionable officiating, there was many things that contributed to the loss. Head coach John Fox said in the end, one thing that separated the Broncos and the Ravens was the overall better execution.
There was plenty of opportunities. They executed well. Hats off to the Baltimore Ravens. They battled back on the road, and they're deserving.
The Ravens' offensive execution resulted in 4 touchdowns, including 3 Joe Flacco touchdown passes, forcing overtime in the eventual game-winning drive and an early exit for the Broncos from the playoffs.